And welcome everyone to Nerd TV for a RSR Next Generation Cup Series race. Coming at you live from the simulated and virtual Talladega SuperSpeedway on the iRacing platform. And if you tuned in yesterday, it's almost the same exact weather as we saw. 101 on the track, 78 in the skies, partly cloudy, no winds, and this should be a pretty fun one. It was really fun, action-packed yesterday, and I'm expecting nothing less here tonight from the ERL League here with the RSR Next Gen Cup Series. My name is Jeremy Stanley, aka Jay Swifty. To my right-hand side, Jason Rockefeller once again. How is it going over there at your side on this Tuesday evening?
It's going good, man. I'm ready to watch some Talladega racing, to say the least. I know, obviously, I haven't really been able to catch some of the races here this, for the RSR lately. But, I'm ready to see these guys in action here tonight. It should be an exciting one. Last night was a very, very exciting race, to say the least. And I'm expecting the same thing out of these guys here tonight.
Yeah, 100% here. It is the round of 16, and there's only 2 races per section, right? So this is race 2 of 2 Talladega. So whoever wins it, if they're inside the top 16, they're locked in, and they transfer on to the round of 12 next week. So being a wild card race and being the final transfer spot to potentially lock yourself in, this is going to cause some awesome racing, I think, late in the going. We've seen it last night even, and last week too. It's just in the middle of the race seems to get pretty racy, right, that stage area, and then it kind of came down for just a wee bit. And then we saw a lot of 3x3 racing throughout the entire field, front, back, did not matter. And so keep an eye on that, and that could potentially cause some playoff implications.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, the points look really tight right now. This is the last race of the round of 16. So, we're approaching these final, laps, in a sense, for the round of 12 and the round of 16 rather, in the playoffs. And then you have the round of 12 starting next week. You have the Charlotte Roval. Then you have Las Vegas, 2 totally different tracks. And tonight where anybody can win. The points, like I said, they're very tight right now. Brock Potter, he holds that last transfer spot right now, sitting in the 12th spot. And he really needed the day that he had last week at Texas. He finished second to his Stealth Motorsports teammate Brian Bean. So his second place finish last week could be what gets him into the round of 12 tonight. Then you have Alexander Hodge, he's 2 points out. Anthony Ludi, he's 2 points out. Then you have James Controne, 5 points out. And then Harold Watkins there at the bottom. He very well could have a good day as well. So this is going to be an interesting race. We saw some good racing, like you said last night, Jeremy. I'm expecting pretty much the same here tonight.
Yeah, and those names you just mentioned all being so tight in the points here at Talladega, they have to play a little bit of a conservative game plan here. You can't go for it early on. You might want to do it just to see how the car is going to handle up front. But then if it were me personally, I would kind of drop to the back and kind of bide my time, maybe 20, 30 to go, kind of move my way to the front, because I just can't chance me not making the playoffs if I were in that 12th to 16th range, because it's just so tight in points. Just one wreck and you instantly are out 5 or 6 spots. So shout out to our producer, Mr. Dustin Loxton, not on camera here, doesn't look like, but doing all the camera work, all the audio stuff each and every single Tuesday and Monday here for Nerd TV. So just a quick shout out and appreciation to you. And we're under 1 minute left in practice. We're seeing a lot of team grouping up here, and right now on camera, Stealth Motorsports is having a little bit of fun here in the final minute.
Yeah, they're a group who I think that they can really, obviously do something here this evening. They're very, very good at these super speedway racetracks. I expect them to probably be the crowd to beat, kind of like that Stewart-Haas dominance back in 2018 at the Fall Talladega race. I expect the same thing out of them tonight to project them heading into the round of 12 with some very, very strong momentum, to say the least. And they're definitely, in my opinion, the ones to beat here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they were so fast at all the other super speedways we covered. I think it was Atlanta and the Daytona. They just always up front. And it's a fixed setup, too. So they're just making the most out of the setups that are brought to each and every single weekend, or weekday, rather, on these Tuesdays. And I expect nothing different. I think they're going to be up there just as much as they are every other week. But practice, rather, has got the checker flags out, as one car just completely destroys the wall there in turn 2. We're going to kick it over to qualifying here and try to ride along with our fastest practice guy. And it's actually that number 23 of Harold Watkins there in that Ted Lasso Toyota Camry.
Yeah, this should be an interesting qualifying run, to say the least. Just like we saw yesterday, with obviously the guys qualifying, you want to run that top lane on your out lap. And then on that second lap, you want to kind of drive right down to the bottom of the racetrack. And on the straightaways, or at least the backstretch rather, you want to kind of be about a half a car width, or about a car width in total, off that yellow line, so then you could arc yourself better into the corners, into 3. You can see it down the front straightaway as well. After you get past the start-finish line, guys are going to be a little bit off that yellow line. But when they get back off turn number 4, they're going to be riding that double yellow line for sure.
100% there. Yesterday we watched qualifying for the FTSR Mach 1 Cup Series, and I forget which driver exactly, but they ran one qualifying lap, and that was on the bottom of the track. They just went all of lap 2, and they put themselves, I think, close to the top 10, which really surprised me. So I know there's different ways to make laps happen here competitively, and every single person does a little bit different. So we're going to see how exactly Harold Watkins tries to do that here.
Yeah, he's just going to come right down to the bottom here, coming onto his entry lap. You can see he rode the wall in 3 and 4, and now he's going to ride that bottom lane into 1 and 2. I don't know if this is going to be the best lap for him. He didn't get that little tiny slight arc into 1 and 2, but then watch right here down the back straightaway. You see him, he's going to get a little bit off that yellow line, about a half a car length, kind of moves down a little bit, but as he heads down this straightaway, you can see him, he's holding a steady wheel, and into 3, he wants to make sure that this wheel is super duper steady. In qualifying these days here at the super speedways on the iRacing service, especially with the next gen car, it's difficult to be able to come up through the pack compared to how it was with the Gen 6. The cars are a lot more fragile. The runs are humongous and whatnot, and it's very, very hard to pass unless you have that help. So unless you have help, you better make sure that if you're going to start at the front, you stay up there.
If you notice, he took lap 1 on the bottom. He called it out in 1 and 2, but that was his warm-up lap. At least it would be for me, but he ran the bottom. So apparently there's something to be found with a colder set of virtual Goodyears around this 2.5 mile super speedway to go for it on lap number 1. But he's going to stay on it, and we're going to try to transfer over through some other cars as qualifying continues through. Riding on board the roof camera now of the number 45, Nathan Campbell, as he's trying to go for his first lap.
Yeah, and here comes Nate Campbell. He's been doing a really, really good job this season. Has 2 wins, second in the points. He's pretty much safe as it is heading into tonight with the points. I mean, he's going to have a lot to do. I mean, one bad night tonight could really ruin his playoff hopes. But he's just so far ahead of the cutoff line that I think he's going to be A-okay. He just needs to come out of Talladega not on the hook and really just maintain his own race. He doesn't need to win. He doesn't need to do this. A win would be great, so I'm assuming he's going to try to help some of his other teammates here from Stealth Motorsports. But Nathan Campbell, he's a good super speedway racer. I expect him to be up at the front as well.
Yeah, he'll definitely be a top 5 contender for sure if he continues the trend that he's had in 2023. Anyways, here since we've started covering the RSR Next Gen League a few months back, switching over to the roof camera, the 68, Andrew Little here, which I think this is going to be his second lap posted at the line.
Yeah, and Andrew Little, he needs to have a good night to say the least as well. Coming into tonight, right in the playoffs, he is 11th, so he is just 2 points above the cutoff line with Brock Potter there, tied with him for that 11th, 12th place. So Andrew needs a good night. A great qualifying run for him would mean so much, knowing that he can start up at the front and he could try to go after those stage points, which will come at the end of lap 30, or at lap 30 to be exact, I believe. And this could be a night where he needs to try to improve his positions methodically, very carefully, if he does get trapped in the back of this field. But I think Andrew Little could be safe here as this race goes on.
Yeah, 100% here is he's going to complete lap number 2 on this one here. Or actually, I think he's already took his 2 laps if I'm not. No, he's on the board. So yeah, this would be a second lap here. Some others are finalizing their laps as it gets down to the final seconds. Actually, 5 seconds left in the session when Andrew does cross the line, and a little bit slower that second lap. And it looks like Hauling Ass Racing's number 57, Brian Fine, in some pink colors here this evening, is going to snag the pole from the field with Matt Hayden in second, Harold Rothray rather in third place. So that'll be tonight's top 3. We're going to go over the whole starting lineup here for tonight's NERDitudes 225 once most of the cars do grid up on the front straightaway just before the start-finish line here. And we got 31 entries. We got 85 laps. Stage break going to happen on lap 30. And that's going to be the stats for this evening. Who is going to get the job done? What team will prevail here for the final super speedway race of the 2023 season? Going down the starting order here, the numbers 57, Brian 5 on the right-hand side of your screen, going to be P1. Matt Hayden in second place. Harold Rothray in third. Adam Boughton in fourth. Ryan Bean in fifth. Sixth place will be Zach Schrenthal. Seventh place, Stan Carnathan. Eighth place will be the 26 of Blake Howell. Ninth place, Richie Coy. And 10th place, Nolan Potter.
Then you got your top 20. Starting 11th, you have Michael Cardin, the 24. 12th will be Nathan Campbell. Talked about him being a good super speedway racer. 13th, Harold Watkins. 14th goes to Alexander Hodge. 15th, Michael Sheffield. 16th is Brock Potter, who needs a great night tonight. 17th, Kevin Ruffin, the number 99. 18th is Anthony Ludi. 19th, Steve Potter. And the top 20, Marc-Andre Thibodeau.
21st, Andrew Little. 22nd, Jerry Culver. 23rd place, Kane Lee. 24th place will be Kevin Zalmadil. 25th, Bob Fitzpatrick. 26th, James Catrone. 27th place, Stephen Rasick. 28th, Richard Gonzalez. 29th, James Fitzmaurice. 30th place, Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. And the 31st place car in tonight's starting order here is number 92 of Clint Moda. Very familiar spot for that guy, as we see about 8 cars not posting qualifying times. So those last 8 are sorted by their I ratings respectively, as our producer Dustin goes back up through the field before they start rolling. He's got to quickly dart to the infield once these cars start rolling, or else there he goes. He's going to make that cut early so he doesn't get run over here. I'm just waiting for the pace car to roll off. We got 1 pace lap before we go green flag.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting race, to say the least. You're going to have guys who are out here who are just trying to have fun and really keep their momentum going in the season. If you're not a playoff guy, you got to figure out, all right, well, I got to be really careful around the playoff guys, and whatnot. So it's going to be interesting to see who works with who. Will there be team strategies? Will we see any green flag pit stops? Will we see the aggressive racing like we did after those first 15, 20 laps last night in the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series? Richie Coy knows how it was. He raced that race. He's going to be starting in that 9th position. So look out for him to kind of know what line is going to be the best. We saw the outside Jeremy last night. It really prevailed if you had that momentum with everybody behind you. And I don't just mean the top 2 lines. I mean the 3rd lane all the way up at the top of the racetrack. It can work. You're just going to have the help behind you.
100%. The only difference between Richie Coy from yesterday to tonight is it was an open setup last night. It's a fixed setup this night. So all that means is the team had worked hard on that setup entering Talladega yesterday. They knew what they had to do to get their car fast. This time, everyone's on the same playing field, right? So your car is going to perform a little differently. Don't know exactly how well it's going to run in the draft if you don't have much practice with it. But Richie's a really talented driver, and I'm sure he'll figure that out no problem starting inside the top 10 here this evening. Once again, stage will be 30 laps before we get the caution flag. That's the only guaranteed caution break that we get. And we'll see how this goes. And there's a lot of different skins out here, Jason. A lot of change-ups. The front row especially. White and pink in one and white and red on the other. And throughout the field, there's a lot of different cool cars. There's a Days of Thunder style throwback mid-pack. There's a couple other green cars I haven't seen. There's a Jeff Gordon throwback. So I appreciate everyone trying to change it up a little bit here for the final Super Speedway race for the 2023 season. Pace car has pulled down in the Geico restart zone, and here we are. Green flag is out. This 85 lap race is underway.
Brian Fine gets a really good start with help from Harold Rothery behind him. Then you have Matt Hayden outside. You're not funny, Dustin. And then you have that outside lead, Adam Bowden up on the top side. He's getting a push from Zach Schrittenthal as they wrap around 1 and 2. The inside is going to dart out to the race lead. But watch, like I talked about yesterday, Jeremy, that outside lane, they're going to get a huge surge of momentum once they get down the straightaways. And here they come. Matt Hayden goes to the lead in 3.
We're going to find out here in the first couple laps exactly who is going to have the preferred lane, inside or outside, as long as the numbers stay equal between the bottom and the top lane. And right now, the top lane has a little bit more in numbers in the front half of the field, about 15 cars back before you start seeing some slight separations here. There's that number 5, Matt Hayden, just gets a great launch there. He's going to bring the 7 with him, or the 10 rather, with him. And the 10 of Adam Bowden's going to drop to the bottom. Number 5, Matt Hayden's going to stay at the top. Now Zach's going to go to the top to try to take the race lead. Oh, huge wreck. Almost. Here we go. They're stacking up. The 5, Matt Hayden is around. And it's going to bring in Alexander Hodge, Kevin Ruff, quite a few others. Andrew Little, the number 24, Michael Carter. He's involved. I think about 7 or 8 cars in this one there, Jason.
My goodness, too early for this kind of stuff to be happening. We're going to have to take a look here at the Nerd TV replay. You're going to see him going into 1. This is the 7. That is Harold Rothery, I believe, or it's actually,
Correct.
Yes, it is Harold Rothery. And everybody just starts stacking up. We're going to try to see if we can go back to the 5 from some kind of point of view, or at least a third-person perspective, and to see if he left that bottom lane open or if he got shoved, because I could not tell from our side of the screen here. But we're going to take a look back and see what exactly happened to that number 5 once they went through 1 and 2. I thought he left the bottom open, and then it looked like all of a sudden he just kind of came right down in front of the field there, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Matt Hayden just didn't want to go 3 wide there, moved it down to the bottom, and Adam Bowden with a great head of steam there with all the help on the inside lane, just closed up too quick and turned the number 5. They almost had it saved, and then one overcorrection sent him back up in front of the entire field. As we're going to take another look, here's the number 5. He's got the lane now, but there's a 5 to 6 mile an hour difference between these 2 cars. He still comes down. The 10 has nowhere to go because if he lifts, he's going to stack up the entire inside lane. Going to hook the 5 here, Matt Hayden. And I thought for a moment he was going to have it. He gets it straightened out and then just trying to overcorrects it from spinning out. And once he hits that apron, it's going to send him back up a little assistant there, actually, from the 28. And it's going to bring everybody else into the picture of this wreck.
Yeah, that was not what you wanted to see. I don't know if the 5 just thought he was going to block or if he was going to go with the right momentum heading down into 1 and 2, but all of a sudden that guy, he just started to come right down in front of the field. You just cannot be making mistakes like that early on. You had the lane, and it's like this 5 hesitates to come down. Right here, he hesitated. I don't know if we can reverse it real quick to just show and then go into a slow-mo from the exact same camera angle. But I saw the 5, he was starting to come down. Then all of a sudden, he just stops moving. So here you go. Perfect camera angle, like we talked about. He's with the 2. He sees the momentum coming on the bottom. He's going. Now watch. The car's just going to go straight. Right here, he just starts to go straight. Then he goes, all right, I'm going to keep moving down. And then he just comes right down in front of the 10. Unfortunately, collects a lot of drivers early on, just on lap number 2. Cannot be doing that early.
Yeah, I mean, this is a complete side note, but recently I've been told it's bad luck to drive a green car, and I think almost every single car that's green got involved in this wreck here on lap number 2. I think it was 4 different ones out there. So that's just a fun side note. But yeah, that's huge there early on. That's way too early. It's tough for the 10 of Adam Bowden, right? Because you got everybody trying to push you into the front on the bottom. You can't just lift, right? Because you're gonna get turned yourself essentially. So you take another look here a little bit further through the field. There's the number 7 of Rothery, and you see the wreck happening in front. Of course, he has some space to move up. He makes a late move, but then the number 5 gets shot back up the track, and we're seeing all the circling with the mouse there from Dustin. You see 3 cars, green, 4th, Alexander, or Andrew rather, than the 82 of Carnathan technically has green and 82 there. He passes on the left-hand side of your screen.
Yeah, I'm counting about 5 green cars as of now that look to be going around. There might be another one that gets collected in this, but I don't believe so. So it looks like it's going to be 5 green cars. And I remember it was Richie Coy who told us it was bad luck to drive a green car. And unfortunately, that looked to be the circumstance right there. But we're under that first caution now. And Jeremy, the thing that I wonder is, because obviously, I know our producer knows. And I mean, ever since now, that first caution at lap number 2 with the guys being that aggressive, do you think that they really start giving each other a little bit more leeway knowing what just transpired going into turns 1 and 2?
I think the spacing was okay. I didn't see any problems with that through the field. It's just one driver that happened to be in the front of the field, the very front, made a mental error pulling down in front of a really fast line there on the bottom, and just caused it. So I think everything else was fine. I didn't see any issues. So you just got to be aware, check your mirrors, listen to your spotters, and try to not make any questionable moves, especially on lap 2 of 85 here. This will be an hour and a half plus long race. So you got to take care of that stuff and not wreck it 1 minute in.
Absolutely agree with you. I mean, it's just too early to be doing something like what Matt Hayden did there, going into turns 1 and 2. But, I think the field is definitely going to learn from Matt's mistake. I still do believe, though, that just because of that incident that happened going into 1 and 2, that I believe they're probably going to give each other not in a sense a little bit more leeway, but they're going to be a little bit more patient, knowing that you can't exactly make aggressive moves like that early on. I mean, these guys know better. They race every single week, and they race obviously in real life and on the side too, some official stuff. So it is what it is. But unfortunately, that's part of Talladega racing. Just guys having huge runs, and other guys trying to figure out which lane they want to go with. Some will block, and unfortunately, you see something like that happen.
Jumping over to the YouTube chats, I see 2 messages. My 3 sons saying, good luck, Jerry Culver. And then Sheila Geary saying, let's go, Blake Howell on the 26th. He just avoided that wreck by being the second car on the top side, able to just squeak by everybody else there. And then on the Facebook side, Robert Geary saying, it's Talladega time, go Blake. So Blake with both of his cheerleaders out there. And then Michelle Rittenberry says, shake it off, Kevin. Let's get it back to it. So I think his car is going to be just fine, some minor cosmetic damage. He should have that thing fully repaired, and this car should be competitive still. Pace car is back down. We're going to wait for them to get to that restart zone, and then we're going to restart this race on lap number 6. Zach Strenthal is going to lead them to the field, or to the green rather. 26, Blake Howell on his outside. Here it is, green flag is out. The number 2 almost shifted lanes up there, which I don't believe you're allowed to. He dips it back down, so I think we're all clear there. A little three-car breakaway on the bottom as Richie Coy seems to have missed a shift there, apparently.
Yeah, and they're going to be trailing back down into 1 and 2. Zach Schrittenthal, he has that momentum with everybody else behind him. But on the outside, you see right there, that is the 57, or rather the 26 of Blake Howell. He's going to get a huge momentum with that Blue Def Peak antifreeze machine pushed by the 57 of Brian Fine as they head down into 3 and 4. The 26 of Blake Howell is going to be clear for the race lead there, headed into 3 and 4.
Let's see if the inside lane has anything to do to get the Zach Strenthal number 2 car back to that top spot there on the front stretch, coming to the tri-oval. Prefer lane on the bottom here on the front straightaway where you have the shorter route, and they're going to be nose to nose at the line, and it looks like the number 2 of Strenthal is going to lead lap number 6.
Schrittenthal is just doing a good job managing that lane. He doesn't want to make the same mistake that Matt Hayden did just a handful of laps ago. The bottom, though, starting to kind of surge ahead, going through the corners. But on these straightaways, the outside, they're going to get a huge surge of momentum down those long straightaways. There goes Nolan Potter. He slips out of the draft to go to the outside. Zach Schrittenthal moved up as well. Will anybody try to go for the bottom side with Richie Coy pushing Ryan Bean now as they head into 3 and 4?
The 26 there makes a quick move. That's Blake Howell. Gets to the inside now of Nolan Potter on the front straightaway, trying to help that inside line, doing anything they can. But Zach Strenthal right now has the best help at this time. Going to lead 2 cars single file before they're 2x2x2 at the line.
Strenthal still has the race lead with help from Nolan Potter behind. Some aggressive moves just into 3 and 4. And it looks like that bottom lane, they're going to get a surge of momentum now heading through turn number 2 to approach the back straightaway. That's Blake Howell, listed as the 26 on your scoring pylon. Got the 67 paint scheme, so that's one thing we'll keep in mind. He's getting the heck pushed out of him by his teammate Ryan Bean down the back straightaway. And there is FTSR's Richie Coy down there on the bottom side with help from Michael Carter.
Inside the top 5 here, up 4 spots already from the drop of the green flag. Only 7 laps to go. Ryan Bean moves to the top, cuts off the nose, and the number 2, Zach Strenthal, going to try now to lead the charge on the top, and it looks like he's going to pass Blake Howell and lead lap number 7 here, lap number 8 rather. But now, who's going to keep to the top? We're seeing a lot of lines being shifted around, top to bottom, bottom to top. Who's going to stay consistent with their partner? Because right now they are just searching at the moment.
He's definitely searching right now. I think everybody's pretty comfortable with who they're pushing, unless maybe you're in the middle of the back half of the pack. I think Richie is very, very comfortable pushing Blake. I noticed that he was pushing in the corners, and Jeremy, that was something we talked about yesterday. That was a big no-no. You don't want to push in the corners, but there's an exception. If you're hooked up with somebody you're used to or somebody you're comfortable with, it tends to work out just fine. So Richie Coy is still continuing to push Blake Howell into the corners, and they're up to the race lead now as they head to the tri-oval.
And we learned from post-race interviews there as they go 3 wide. Zach to the middle is going to push Ryan Bean out there, the lone car, 3 wide. We learned from some interviews that if you push the left inside part of the fender, or the back bumper rather, there's a little bit of an advantage, but you have that double-edged sword where that's going to make the car in front of you unstable, especially on corner, center, and whatnot, especially on exit. So you have to play that game of, is it worth it? Right now, I would say no, but there's an advantage to be had if you do it just correctly.
For sure, but you don't want to be pushing a guy continuously and seeing him get very, very squarely going through the corners, and then you just think, oh, he can take it, he's saving it, and then next thing you know, you're going to turn somebody around. We saw it in yesterday's Mach 1 Performance Cup race. You saw, I believe it was Ryan Chapman. He was pushing the 6 of oh my gosh, I can't remember, but it was of James Torrey. That's who it was, James Torrey in the number 6 machine off 4. We kept talking about how aggressive Ryan Chapman was at pushing. Next thing you know, caused a wreck coming off turn 4. We very well could see the same thing here tonight.
Yeah, 100% here. The outside is starting to fade away a little bit. You see the top 5, top 6 now single file on the inside part of the racetrack here on lap number 11. Getting a little bit of momentum shift back to the top, but right now the numbers are on the inside, and they got some really good help right now. Leading the way is that number 26, Blake Howell. Richie Coy comfortably drafting behind him now in second. That Jeff Gordon throwback that we mentioned earlier, the 24 Michael Carter, running 3rd place as there are only 3 cars now single filed out there. The outside is starting to make the move once more.
Everybody's starting to make some moves here. Just 11, now 12 laps go up on the board. Blake Howell still leading with Richie Coy pushing him on that back bumper. That outside lane just needs to get organized a little bit better. I'm noticing that Zach Schrittenthal and Ryan Bean are kind of all over the place. Sometimes they'll drift up high, sometimes they'll drift down low, and it kind of catches his field off guard, kind of like that snake effect that you just saw heading through two and then down the back straightaway. They get great momentum down the straightaways, but it's just not enough. And I think if they want to try to make something happen, they're just too far up the top of the racetrack. They have to use that side drift. They have to put it right on the competitors' doors on that left side. You see one driver, he'll pull out of the line. That is the 32 of Kane Lee. He'll jump up in front of Schrittenthal now as they head through the tri-oval to go into lap 13. They're going to put him in the middle here.
Yeah, Kane tried moving to the top lane, and they had nothing of it there, so they put him into the sucker hole by himself. Here we go. He's going to be deleted 6, 7, 8 positions or more as he continues to run the center of the track in turns 1 and 2, and you see him, they're still just passing him really easily, about a 5 to 10 mile an hour difference between these guys. And we'll give a quick shout out to our series sponsor, Best One Tire and Service, the official presenting sponsor of every Tuesday night's RSR Next Gen Cup Series. If you're looking for a one-stop automotive repair and tire shop, Best One Tire and Service helps you get new tires, tire repairs, and auto service you need from the people you can trust. Check out their nearest location to you by visiting bestonetire.com.
Seeing this too of Zach Schrittenthal, he's doing a great job at having the 28 of Ryan Bean. Remember, those two are teammates, and also I believe that's also Nolan Potter behind them. Then you have Brian Fine, who's not one of the stealth guys. The 28 can give pushes to the two, but like I said, if they want to make any sort of progress up here towards this front, I think they have to get down on their competitors' doors on that left side, on the right rear quarter panel. They've done a better job with organization here these last 1 to 2 laps. They've been able to make up a few positions, but this inside is still just pretty dominant here on the bottom with Blake Howell and Richie Coy leading.
Yeah, this combination right now of Blake Howell, Richie Coy, and Michael Carter, it is working great. They have had no one for the past 3 or 4 laps now get to their outside door panels here. As we went for the travel once more, Zach gets now, as I say that, to the Michael Carter, number 24, now to Richie's 19, and now they're making a charge for the lead. So as I said that, they said, hey, listen here, we're going to show you how it's done, and now we're side by side for the whole front half of the field.
Now they're side by side once again, like you just said, Jeremy, and Zach Schrittenthal, he has the momentum with his teammate Ryan Bean and Nolan Potter. The question is, will they be able to clear that 67 or listed number 26 machine of Blake Howell there on the bottom of the racetrack? Doing a great job with Richie Coy in that number 19 behind him, but that outside lane, they've done something. They've been able to make up a lot of ground these last few laps.
Yeah, they have had a huge shift in momentum here on this top half, but now the number 2 is Schrittenthal, is maybe looking to the inside. Ryan Bean is almost clear to that 26. Blake Howell coming to turn number 1 and 2 now. Still not clear. 28 is going to stay on the top. Zach Schrittenthal is going to help this outside progress further. Corner exit, this is where the outside usually has its best run with that huge banking drop off there on corner exit 2. But the inside is still maintaining here, even though it's a little more spaced out between each car on the bottom.
For sure, and you know, this is really so far from what we've seen in these 16 coming to complete it, going on to lap 17. From what we've seen so far, it's been a lot of teammate and teammate tandem. You see there on the bottom, that's Richie Coy, obviously, and Blake Howell. They are teammates over at SJR Racing. They're doing a great job there. I think they could probably make some forward momentum, just don't know if they could do it. They're going to have to get a really big push, and that outside is going to have to kind of start to diminish, but we'll have to see how it ends up being for him.
And the top 3 now on the outside are now single filed here through the backstretch, and Brian Fine in the 57 almost gets clear to Blake Howell as well. So the inside is just continuing to not progress further these past couple laps. But this will probably be the game that we're going to see all night long, is the shift in power. Right now it's to the top, but you better believe within 5 or 10 laps to go of stage, you're going to see that momentum shift once more to the bottom. But they have the strong numbers game still. I'm going to keep talking about that because that's how you're going to make your line move. Around, they have about 2 or 3 cars difference Zach looking to go to the bottom, but once more goes back up to the top at the line.
That really just hurt them a lot going through the tri-oval. This could enable the 26 machine and the 19 to get back evenly with the 2 once they get off turn number 2. You see them doing just that here as they reach the Alabama Gang super stretch down here on lap number 18. The 2 was moving around. You talked about it. One looked like he was going to move down, brought the 3 cars behind him to the bottom, but they immediately started to go back up in line, and that really hurt their forward momentum, and it has enabled now that 26 machine of Blake Howell and Richie Coy to get right down to the bottom. They're even here off turn number 4.
Yeah, Ryan Bean's got to be on the radio telling his teammate to hold your line, because if you keep doing that, you're going to see exactly what you're seeing now. That inside just starting to creep further and further forward. When you break that draft, you're cutting a 1 to 2 mile an hour off, and that's all you need to have that momentum shift. As we got about a lap car, 20 car lengths away from being passed right now. So we got to see them maybe go to the top or go to the apron. I know the lane is at the bottom half of this track, and that's the 99 of Kevin Ruff. He's about to go lap down here, going through turns 3.
And then this field right here, they're going to have to get around him very, very quickly. This could shuffle some things up. We saw it in the Cup Series race on Sunday. We saw it in yesterday's Mach 1 race. Kevin's easily going to hold that bottom, so this is going to make everything a lot tighter for these guys up at the front. And it actually really does shuffle everything. They're 3, almost 4 wide off the corner. Brian Fine gets shuffled out, and that's going to enable Nathan Campbell to go through the middle. He saw the opportunity. He was able to take it. They're 3, almost 4 wide as Brian Fine continues to lose position after position down the front stretch.
Do not agree with the 99 Kevin Ruff staying on the bottom there. You saw it shifted everyone and everything up there. They're still 3 wide, trying to sort it out here as we're seeing Michael Shelton, the one in the middle, Brian Fine to the top, Kevin Ruff, that lap car now on the bottom, still holding 3 wide as they're starting to progress a little bit now side by side with the 10 of Adam Boughton. But momentarily back at the front, they're maintaining where they left off a lap ago before they went 3 wide with Kevin. But the 26 is passing the 28 at the moment, and now he might have a great chance to take this lead from Zach Strenthal to complete lap 20.
Yeah, and they're going to be coming this time by with just 10 laps to go in this stage, so things are going to start getting aggressive. It's been these 2 up at the front so far, pretty much all race long from the 20 laps we've completed. We've seen some great passes. We've seen some great teamwork. So far, there's not really a dominant line, Jeremy, to say. We've really seen the bottom have its moments, but we've also seen the top have its moments. And by the way, that 99 of Kevin Ruff, he was holding his line down the bottom. He was actually able to catch on to the rear of that pack there to kind of just hold his ground. So this could be what gets him back on the lead lap and get the lucky dog. But as they work around 3 and 4, it's still Blake Howell and Zach Schrittenthal down the front straightaway.
Yeah, heat nose to nose here before they get to the entrance of the tri-oval. And at the line, it's going to be probably the number 2 as Zach Strenthal, which just has a little bit more speed there. Ryan Bean doing a 2-car tandem through that whole tri-oval, going to propel Strenthal about 2 to 3 car lengths into the race lead. Now they get separated. The inside's a little more closed up. We're going to see Blake Howell make a charge back at the bottom here on the back straightaway. And do a quick shout out to one of our series sponsors here as well, Admin Box. It's built by iRacers for iRacers to be utilized in league and hosted races. The goal is to make race control as easy as possible for race admins, either racing or providing race control. Each admin box connects via USB and features pre-programmed commands, so no key binding required, for race control, driver function, and pit options. LED backlit buttons makes everything highly visible in any situation. Check out their pricing plans for the admin box at www.adminbox.com, and that's with 2 X's, and you're going to use that promo code RSR-BOXX. It'll save you 10% off.
This outside lane right here has kind of started to have a little bit of surge of momentum. We talked about it just a couple laps to go, Jeremy, about how there has not been a dominant lane just yet. Well, the outside lane is showing that they are the place to be. Well, look at this. This is a huge move out of Nolan Potter. He's going to head down to the bottom of the racetrack and actually leave his Stealth Motorsport teammates to try to see if he can gain any more points inside this stage. He came into tonight 3rd in the playoffs, and so far he's looking to try to have himself a stage win once they approach lap number 30. Lap 24 goes up on the board. The outside lane, though, starts to have a little bit more momentum than the bottom as they head into one.
It's very common late into each finish, the stage or the actual finish of the race, to leave your teammates and try to do something to maximize your points, and you're going to need it here at Talladega. And right now, the 34, Nolan Potter, is going to shoot to the lead with a big gap now over the outside lane. So the 26, the 34, those guys are going to launch. The 19 and the 24, that's Richie Coy and Michael Carter, rather. They got a 4-car lead now, but this top side, Zach Strenthal, about 3-mile-an-hour difference on the top, gets great side draft from Carter, and now he's looking to get back into second, maybe first place here.
Some great momentum there out of the bottom, and we thought the 19 was a great pusher for Blake Howell, but Blake Howell is actually a really good pusher for Nolan Potter. They were pushing for about the last entire lap, staying hooked up together. They got out a little bit of a head, but that top lane, they've been able to come back just a little bit by being able to side draft. Blake Howell's going to put the bumper back to Nolan Potter, this time down the backstretch.
Still single file top 3. Zach Strenthal and Ryan Bean are trying everything they can with Nathan Campbell behind them, and then the 23 as well. Trying everything, but they get a little mishap there right before entrance turn 3. The 23 had a really lift, that being Harold Watkins. It's going to cause a moment of 3 wide here on corner exit. Matt Hayden, the 5-car, is going to be in the middle of this, as 2 rows now, 3 by 3 in the back.
It's going to be something that we're going to have to watch. We're seeing a couple guys back there. James Catrone is one of them. You also have Brian Fine, others as well back there in that pack. So this is going to be something that we're going to have to watch. Could be the area of this pack that sets off a wreck, but really you could have anywhere on this track here, Jeremy, with a wreck happening. And look at the outside lane get a huge surge of momentum down the back straight. And oh, they just left out one of the drivers. This could get dicey right there. That was Blake Howell, I believe, going through the middle. He got through the sucker hole. Gonna have to see maybe if we can get a replay to see what happened there. But he goes all the way back to 6th in that middle lane, and now you have the number 34 of Nolan Potter. He's gonna have to deal with Richie Coy on his back bumper.
Zach Strenthal, Ryan Bean just absolutely deleted Blake Howell from being up there in the top 5. They had a great run. They moved to the top and just set Blake Howell right into the sucker hole and didn't look back. And now that middle lane is taking off. We're jumping to the Nerd TV replay, and you see the pass right there. And now there's no help to the back bumper of, well, the 67 on your screen, but 26 on the pylon. And you see the number 4, Brock Potter, going to slam draft him right in the center, but it's not going to really help too much, as you already see 6-7 cars have passed him, and they go 3 wide through 3 and 4 there.
Job by these guys not being able to wreck there from turn 2 all the way to turn 3, because there very well could have been a wreck. But now everything's getting really heated up this time by. They're going to have 3 laps to go, rather, here at the line. And Zach Strenthal still leading over Ryan Bean, Nathan Campbell. But this outside lane, talked about it, Jeremy, that at some point, if you got good enough help and you had momentum, that very top of the racetrack could be the best lane. And so far, it is working for Caden Lee, the guy who they left out in the middle. He's going to the front right now. Strenthal will ditch the middle lane. He'll go to the top with Caden Lee. They stack up down the back straightaway as they head for 3.
Going to cause more cars to go 3 wide through turns 3 and 4 this time. That was a great move by the number 2 to maintain the race lead. This is going to put some of these other guys in that middle lane to see if they can maybe hang on, or if they're going to fall back. 3 wide now from the second row on. And then the guys up at the top are still at the very top of the track. They all start to 1 by 1 single file back to the bottom, but they put themselves 3 wide here, as this is really going to check up the field in 1.
Yeah, and everybody starts to check up. Caden Lee, though, he's got that outside help. The bottom lane's going to get a little bit unwound here with Adam Boughton. He's going to drop back just a little bit. Ryan Bean and others, they got a little squirrely. And Caden Lee goes to the race lead right now with help from Michael Sheffield and Stan Carnathan. A totally different top 3 podium that we've seen here tonight at Talladega.
Yeah, all quickly shifted. Those 3 cars in the front went went 3 wide by themselves, and they just lost so much speed. They fell back. You see Zach basically in 10th place at this time. But right now, Caden Lee, who was leading the charge on the very top of the track, 2 laps ago, is now leading the thing here, coming to 1 to go in this stage.
And with 1 lap to go in the stage, Kane Lee, he's got some momentum on that top lane, but here comes Adam Boughton. He's got the help from Ryan Bean. It's going to be a drag race possibly for the stage win. You see that 26 of Blake Howell and also Brian Fine. They're in the sucker hole, nowhere to go. Whoa, James Catrone shifted out of lane for a second, nearly caused a wreck in the middle of that pack, but while they head down the back straightaway, Adam Boughton is able to get out to about 3 car lengths. Here comes Zach Schrittenthal with a head of steam up the middle lane for the final time through 3 and 4 in stage 1.
Trying to carry it, cannot do it. Thought about going to the top. There was just too much speed. Kalen's going to pass him. Zach Thrensenall going to the back, and now here comes a shift. Ryan Bean trying to win the stage here at the line, is going to get the side draft and make the pass happen. Ryan Bean, winner of stage 1.
Great execution by Ryan Bean to stay patient, stay calm, cool, collective, whatever you want to call it. And that number 28 machine did a great job. And Jerry Culver as well, one of the guys who was in that middle to back of the pack, held his own, made it through. Richie Coy, he was up in the top 5 all stage long. Some great racing here, just 30 laps in.
100% there. These guys are going to get wound down, head to pit road here in the next lap or so, and we're going to take our first picture-in-picture commercial break. Be back shortly before the drop for the green flag for stage 2. And back to full screen here as we have just over a half a lap left before this RSR Next Gen Cup Series is going to go back to green flag action, which will resume the race on lap number 34. And we have 85 laps to conclude this race. So it's going to be just over 50 laps left in this NERDitudes 225 before we're going to see the checker flags here this evening. Ryan being the 28 is going to be the winner of the stage and also going to be leading this field to the green flag to start stage 2. 2 is outside. Look at this guy. Started in 22nd place. Number 13, Jerry Culver, doing an excellent job late in that first stage to move himself into the top 10. And I think he had a pretty good pit stop as well to put himself P2. Richie Coy in 3rd place there on the inside lane. Blake Cowell in 4th. And the 26 has been in the top 5 all race long. Michael Carter also been in the top 5 there as well. That 24 looking pretty strong here. And got here just a quarter lap left. And I think we're going to see more of the same. This has been a very similar story, Jason, to what we've seen this past Monday and Wednesday here at the FTSR side. Is just late stage craziness. And then expect around 10 or 15 laps into this stage. You said the patience wears out. And I think this is exactly what we're going to see in this series here tonight. And we're going to see a lot of 3-wide racing. At least that's what I'm expecting. We're in the restart zone. Green flag is out, and Ryan Bean somehow just leads the field way before the green flag flies, a whole car length or so, which super speedways, we know that does not play you any favors.
Yeah, definitely not going to play him any favors. He's going to fall right back to the front bumper of Richie Coy, and watch this. This outside is going to have a huge run, but this inside lane is going to have even bigger run, being in that draft lake with that 24 Pepsi throwback machine of Michael Carter. They're going to have a huge run. The question is, will anybody do anything with it? Will somebody go to the middle? Will they check up? Will a wreck happen? Seems like everything so far is so good. Jerry Culver, though, goes to the race lead heading into 3.
My 3 sons on YouTube saying, great job, Culver, before the drop of the green flag, and here he is. The guy who's been cheerleading every single week is now leading this field off of turn 4. And as long as Blake Howell sticks to the back bumper, Jerry Culver's going to lead himself a lap here. Brian Fine looks to the bottom, and nope, as soon as I say that, I really apologize there. But Blake Howell is going to steal that lap from Jerry. He's going to move right now into really close side drafting to try to maintain at least top 2, top 3. But then Stan Carnathan moves to the top, and then Jerry Culver's going to find himself in the sucker hole.
He's going to find himself in the sucker hole indeed, and almost causes a wreck there off turn number 2. They all keep it going, though, as they head down the back straightaway. Culver, though, tries to tuck back in line. He does this time.
Why they got to do that to my boy Jerry Culver? Just put him in the sucker hole after getting to the front, and now he's falling back to about 15th or so on the top half of the track. We're going to have to try to regain that momentum right now. This top lane is really spaced out, and so if they can group up and try it one more time. He's not done, though. I expect that 13 to be up there here in the closing laps.
Yeah, I do too. It's just going to be a matter of what will he do to get up there, what kind of moves will he make, who will he go with. It's all about how you execute here at Talladega and Daytona. And today at Talladega, everything is a little bit more on the line. You have playoff guys versus non-playoff guys here. Everybody wants to win at Talladega, and here he goes. Talked about what kind of moves he'd make. He goes through the middle right now, trying to head to the bottom. He's got 2 other cars right back behind him as they work down the back straightaway, heading into 3 and 4. He's got Bob Fitzpatrick Sr., and I believe maybe Andrew Little there behind him, but they're heading into 3 and 4. The 13 continuously trying to move up so many positions.
That's actually the number 48 there, Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. 3 cars in the middle, everybody else top or bottom. Right now, Ryan Fine looked to go to the outside of Blake Howell. Blake Howell's going to put himself into the sucker hole. Just a nice little donation there. 4 wide, though. It looks like the number 1 is going to maybe scuff the wall on corner entrance there. I saw a puff of white smoke on the entrance there, but they go back to 3 wide momentarily. 13 trying to get around Brian Fine. He might dip to the bottom if he gets cleared. He has the lane now. Does he make the move, or is he going to keep the number 3 behind him?
Yeah, he might just very well have this 3 behind him for the time being until this Brian Fine machine gets there. He'll get right to the back bumper. Oh, and whoa, what a big shift of momentum. I cannot believe they were able to save it. Will they wreck? Yes, they will. No, they don't. Holy cow. What a save out of the number 92 machine. That is Clint Moda. And boy, oh boy, he was holding that inside line on the apron. caught it at the wrong place, wrong time with the right rear, started to go around. I thought he was going to overcorrect it, Jeremy. Thankfully, he was able to save it, and we stay green.
I think there's more smoke up here in the turn 1 entrance. I got to go back and take a look. Got a couple slow cars. Matt Hayden in the number 5. Got his nose cleaned off there just after the start-finish line. The 34, Nolan Potter, came right across the nose and just deleted Matt Hayden there. And I think it took out a couple other guys as well. The number 11, Alexander Hodge, is involved. 99, Kevin Ruff gets sandwiched to the outside there. But no one spun, so it did not trigger a caution from iRacing. We stay green.
Very interesting. And if you're Matt Hayden, Alexander Hodge, Nolan Potter, Clint Boda, you are hoping for a caution. And oh my goodness, the Nolan Potter was nearly going upside down on the front straightaway. I am actually shocked that this did not cause a caution. The whole reason why it didn't, I don't understand how this isn't a caution. I mean, they're going so slow. There's cars around them. I think iRacing should have thrown the caution. But with that being said, the only reason why the iRacing service did not trigger a caution is because Nolan Potter kept it back going straight. He got sideways at about a 90-degree angle really quickly, or it was very, very close, but then quickly got back going forward. Had he have stayed like that, we would have been seeing a yellow.
And they're the same way on the track. Nolan Potter in the 34 is loud on the radio right now saying, how is that not a caution? Said that twice in 2 laps. And just frustrations with the iRacing service not throwing the yellow because there clearly was a wreck, right? But like you said, he did not go past that 90-degree mark sideways on the track, kept it going straight. So they stay green for that moment. That's going to take out a couple of heavy hitters, about 4 or 5 cars with damage. So they are now off pace and are going to have to hope for another type of wreck to happen. But jumping back to that first little incident too, before that even happened, that was Anthony Ludi in the 8 that came down and put Clint Moda below the yellow line. And then he was fine until his right rear touched that yellow line, trying to merge back up to the track, kicked him sideways, and somehow, some way, saved that car from spinning. And then, of course, everything else happened in front of him. And now, I guess momentarily, we're back to normal racing right now.
Yeah, and Kane Lean just had the lead, and I don't know why he jumped up and just ultimately let Stan Carnathan go on the bottom side there, exiting 3 and 4. I don't know if it was a strategy or not, but if so, I mean, it could be a strategy that'll work out here late in the going for Kane Lee. He's still there up on the top side. He's got some hitters around him that we really haven't seen today. I mean, you talk about other guys who were up at the front at the end of that stage. Kane Lee, he's been there. You have Michael Sheffield, Stan Carnathan, Michael Carter, Ludi, Little, Bob Fitzpatrick, James Catrone, and then Richie Coy right back there, along with Blake Howell and some other guys. This field has pretty much separated into 2 packs, and then back behind you have Brian Fine leading that pack behind them.
Might be a few minutes back there, but Robert Geary on Facebook said a lot of white knuckles after that stage. You are absolutely correct, and especially after what happened right there just a moment ago. A lot of white knuckles are starting to not be white knuckles. They've kind of calmed down momentarily, but this outside led by 32 of Kane Lee being one of the very strong competitors here on the top, and of course that 24 Michael Carter just continues to be one of the best pushers here in the field. It doesn't matter who's in front of him. He's able to control that car and put them at least top 5, if not top 2 or 3. And you're continuing to see that running all the way up in that 3rd groove above the white dotted line. And they're going to be directly nose to nose through the tri-oval here, getting to the line to complete lap number 42. And my 3 sons, we all agree with you. No caution, really? Yeah, unfortunately, for those guys especially, no caution.
Yeah, and it's just a tough break right there, but that's unfortunately the way that the iRacing service works, unless the admins want to throw a yellow, but they go off of the iRacing yellows and rule book. So that is what they do. Obviously, they can modify it to whatever way they want, but their season rules are still in effect. I'm sure after this race, maybe they'll take a look into it for next season, possibly, or future races in general. But back up at the front, Kane Lee, he was leading. Now the 24, Michael Carter, thought about going to the bottom. He is going to get put in the sucker hole right there, and the Pepsi machine is going to be going to the back of this train right here.
Yeah, make one move to maybe go to the front and then quickly regrets it. Look how far he just drops back. He was in 2nd place or 3rd place coming to turn 3. Now he's going to cross the line here. He's going to go from 3rd place all the way to 14th. So minus 11 and a half a track here. That's just over a mile's worth of distance to lose that many spots.
Definitely, to say the least. If you're that 24 machine, you don't want to do that. And whoa, oh my goodness. Jerry Culver nearly just lost it right there coming off turn number 2. Did a great job at rebounding. But hey, thankfully for the 24, though, of Michael Carter, he was able to catch on to that backpack. And it's good that he didn't lose the draft, but he is still in danger of losing it. So he wants to make sure he's maintaining that throttle, keeping it full throttle, and doesn't have too much off throttle time when he gets to the back bumper there of Steve Potter here down this front straightaway.
We're going to go to our segment that we call Turn Up the Tudes. We're going to listen to these next-gen cars going around Talladega. We'll be back with you guys shortly. And that was Turn Up the Tudes, where we listen to the sounds of these cars going around this track here. They still remain too wide for the most part here. They're in the first part of that segment anyways, and they're starting to fall off. The 82 Stan Carnathan, and our producer Dustin was telling us during that little break there for us that at least right now, the top 2 cars were involved in that first caution, and they're up there in the front. So obviously they got their stuff repaired. One of the other guys, Andrew Little in the 68, he's actually leading the outside charge right now. So clearly they got all their virtual cars repaired, and those guys in particular are doing a hell of a job at the front of the field.
Yeah, they're doing a great job right now, Jeremy. And I mean, I'm surprised to see them up there right now. But I mean, we also have seen this pack now separate into two different ones. And in fact, just because of the side-by-side racing and the split within that first pack, you're starting to see Brian Fine. He has caught the rear of that pack, that being Michael Carter in the number 24. They're going to try to actually pick him up instead of going to the outside, rather. So let's stay in line, but I'm sure they're going to try to move up maybe and get the second lane going here momentarily.
And it's the first time I've seen it all week where everybody in this top half of the field single file down the back straightaway. Not a single person making a move except for the 38 of Catrone. He's going to stay in that second lane, see if he can pick up any followers to propel him maybe to the top 5. He only got one person behind him. That's Brian Fine. The 57 is going to close up to the 38 of James Catrone, but no other takers. So we're going to stay basically all single file here on the front straightaway.
As they keep going single file, you see James Catrone, Brian Fine there out of line. I'm actually surprised that nobody went with Fine there to the outside lane, because right now him and James Catrone, they're doing a great job. I'm sure that the 24 or somebody is going to pick up maybe Kane Lee, maybe also Andrew Little. They might jump up to the top side here with the run that this 57 and 38 are getting. They're all the way up to the 19. There we go. There goes Andrew Little. He'll go to the top side. He's going to bring a couple more cars with him now as they head to 3 and 4 this time.
Outside slowly forming here. Out Talladega through turns 3 and 4. And getting to the front straightaway, the 38 of Catrone making slight gains. Passes the 13 and Jerry Culver. Now looking to the outside. The remainder of these guys on the outside of the top 5 getting to the line. They're continuing to progress. There you see the 21 getting past, the 26 getting past there. 6-7 on your screen, 26 on the board, Blake Howell. And now they're coming up to Bob Fitzpatrick here, which is your third place car. So only 2 cars, Kane Lee and Andrew Little, making their way to the front.
Fitzpatrick Jr., he's going to actually jump out of line, go to the top side with Catrone and Fine to try to get around Fitzpatrick Jr. Or not Fitzpatrick Jr., rather. That was actually Anthony Ludier. No, it was Fitzpatrick Jr. He jumped up to the outside for those first 2 cars. They're actually finally going to get this pack going side by side. Just about 5 laps ago, Jeremy, this pack was separated into 2 and was all over. Now they are all grouped up together as they work back down the front straightaway to complete lap number 52. Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. leads in the iconic number 3 here at Talladega.
Man, that's the first lap led there for lap number 3, and that's another lead change. I think we've had over 10 at this point in this race. But those guys jumped to the bottom. Now they gave up all the help that got them there in the first place. And now Brian Fine has the window, but Bob Fitzpatrick moves back to the top. You can't do that. You lose the lane and you go back to it. You're just going to choke up the top half, and here it is. You're going to back up the 57, the 68. It's going to allow James Catrone now to take sole possession of the race lead. 82, Stan Carnathan doing a great job pushing him through the center of 3 and 4. But now Bob Fitzpatrick finally gets that momentum back, shifting to the top, and they're going to go 3 wide here, led by Kane Lee.
And Kane Lee, one of those guys, almost got into the wall, I believe it was, or maybe they did, off 3 and 4. Saw a puff of smoke, but they're going to keep on going as they just rip that top side. They're also going to maybe get Andrew Little up there, not too sure. The field looks to be very indecisive, that being Andrew Little figuring out if he wants to go to the middle or to the top. I honestly think he should jump up to the top side because the 57 and the 3, they're going to get caught by the 17, start to stack up. But now since that number 3, or rather the 68, didn't jump up that middle lane, they've caught back up, and Kane Lee is starting to fade back just a little bit.
Yeah, that was just momentarily a great move, but then they didn't have the assistance that they needed and quickly had to fall right back. So they're going to have to regroup and figure out what they're going to need to do to get back inside the top 5. Right now, the 38 gets a bump from Santa Carthan, almost sends him to the door panel. Bob Fitzpatrick. They continue to go straight, though. Bob Fitzpatrick, the 3 is going to lead that time by at the line.
I think, Jeremy, now the thing that we could start to be thinking about here is because these guys last pitted on lap 31 and 32, we're at lap 55. They have to have something in the back of their head probably saying, hey, we're going to be pitting pretty soon. It's been almost 25 laps, so I'd see some pit stops probably here within the next 10 laps or so. But we've seen constantly, time and again, how difficult it is to get down here onto pit road at Talladega. So these guys are going to have to figure out who they want to go with and where they're going to be when it comes time to head down to pit road.
Yeah, we have 30 laps to go in this race at the line, so basically halfway through the set or stage number 2. So at any moment, you could see them come down, or, you know, with the unlimited green-white checkers here, they're maybe going to run this thing a little bit more on the dry side. You never know what to expect here at Talladega. You could have 3 or 4 green-white checkers, so leave a little bit of reserve in that tank. Go to 3 wide for about 15th place. Jerry Culver in the middle. Going to really pinch the number 24 Michael Carter on corner exit. There is Dustin with his excellent drone camera. Just detaches from one car, and he's going to leapfrog probably to another as you kind of float through the field here. Look at this camera control, even through the corner, able to maintain that position on the bottom lane.
Lane here is just doing a great job at being able to kind of just, you know, keep that middle to top lane at bay. But, you know, there's not really been a dominant lane so far. You know, we've seen this bottom lane, though, do some great things. I still want to say I think that very, very top lane is the way to go, all the way up at the top of the racetrack here. You see as we go back up towards the front of this field, James Catrone still leading the top. The very top, I believe that's Kane Lee and Michael Carter trying to make something work right now. They're actually doing a really good job. They have a great head of steam here down this back straightaway.
He brought the drone back to the host car there, and now we're going back to the TV coverage here. 3 wide, 68 Andrew Little, and Jerry Colvin, the 13 right behind him. So now we got 5 cars in this middle groove. 2 on the top. Kane Lee just desperately trying him, the 24 Michael Carter. They're trying anything to get anybody they possibly can with advertisement. Say, hey, come join us up here. We got a line that could be able to be contending with for this race lead right now. But no takers even at this time, completing lap 57, so under 30 laps to go in this event. And right now that middle groove is really fast there, led by the number 3.
This is going to be interesting. I think, you know, this could set up some strategy here once we do eventually get these green flag pit stops, if we even make it to that. As is, oh, Kane Lee, he's up and into the wall. He got put there by Jerry Culver, hit it once, twice, came off the wall, was able to keep it going, and that's going to definitely hurt this outside momentum. But the thing we talked about was the pit stops. When will we see these guys come into the pits? How will they pit? Who will they go with? You're going to see varying strategies like we saw on Sunday at Talladega, and it's all going to be about who has the fastest stop and who can get organized very well going in and who can get very organized as well heading out of the pits.
Do a quick shout out to our home sponsor, the NERDitudes.gg. Head over to swag.nerditudes.gg if you want to pick up and support anything nerd related on our end here. You see our jerseys and our gloves officially produced by Martin Sports. That's some of our best products we have. We also have some water bottles, some t-shirts called Shirtitudes, 3 fun designs currently listed right now, and some more coming. So put that page on your favorites on your browser, and then just keep up to date on that. And if you want to purchase anything, you got that super nerd code there for 25% off, especially on those jerseys and those gloves. Those are some very unique and awesome, brightly colored jerseys and gloves, and some of the best things that you'll wear today.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely got to go check them out. The shirts that we have are absolutely hilarious, too, for the Shirtitudes. You got to go check them out there as well. And also, you got to check out this racing that's going on right now. You see the 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. there up at the top of the racetrack, trying to bring that momentum that once was the top of the racetrack now has kind of dwindled back to the field. We're going to see here if this 3 can lead this field back up to the top of the racetrack, going back to the race lead. They're almost there. You see them slowly getting back to the 17 of Kevin Zabaldil, and here we go. Green flag pit stops are starting to begin. Let's see who has the fastest stop going in and who comes out the best as well.
Box, box, box. Top 10, or 10 cars rather, on pit road. Clint Moda is a lap down, but he technically joins this group for 11 total cars here. Everyone getting to their pit boxes, and it looks like so far the first 5 to hit the box have a clean stop. I expect no tires to be changed, just feel and go for every single car. Maybe 2 tires at most, because you can't afford that with the time it takes to fuel up these next-gen cars. And it looks like everybody has a clean entrance and a clean exit. This is going to be key to keep that group together, because if they want to compete with now this group that looks a little scattered right now, get those cars back together and you're going to have a good chance to get into the race lead.
I think this bottom pack's going to be coming here next time by. I thought they were going to be coming this time, but it looks like they're going to go one more lap. Most of those guys are Stealth Motorsports drivers, to say the least, and obviously they don't have, I don't think Ryan Beaton is actually in that pack right now from the looks of it, if I'm correct. I'm looking around. Maybe he is, but they're doing a good job on that bottom side. They're going to get past Kane Lean, Zach Schrittenthal, and yeah, hearing in my ear, Ryan Bean not with them. He is with this 4 of Brock Potter towards the mid-pack of the field, trying to get back up to speed. So I expect that pack that we were just looking at before, they should be coming in this time.
Yeah, the 4 and the 28, it just been kind of a little off pace. I'm not sure exactly what happened to that camp, but right now, momentarily on our own different little strategy, we'll see how that looks as everyone does cycle through pit road. As we're looking at the number 2 is Strengthenol on the bottom, leading the charge for this group of cars that have yet to come down pit road, as that's now 3 laps of separation between the first set of pit stops and what is could be even this time the second group of pit stops. But these guys want to stick together. They're all going to need to come down this time to make anything happen.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to come this time probably to make anything happen. But, I mean, at the same time, I think that they can go just a little bit longer, Jeremy, because that pack that came in, they're a little bit separated right now. I don't think they have the momentum or what it takes to get past these guys when they do, in fact, come into the pits. But I do expect these guys to be pitting here this time. You see Zach Schrittenthal looking like he's going to stay it to the bottom side here off turn number 4. They still stay out for another lap.
Continuing to wind down these laps here. They're going to be at lap number 64. That's going to put it 22 laps to go here in the NERDitudes 225. And they're doing what they can right now, which is staying single file, minus the number 13 of Jerry Culver, trying to pass one of the cars there in the back half of this little grouping. And you got to stay single file. That is ultimately the fastest way to run a race. And they know they got pit stops coming up here shortly. So why try to go too wide and pass each other when you're just going to slow the pack down? So they're doing a great job keeping their line, and they're just going to bide their time until they decide, hey, we're going to come down pit road.
Definitely, you know, I mean, but like I said, they could stay out just a little bit longer right now. I mean, look at the pack that's in front of them. These are the guys that were in the pits just a couple laps ago, and they're looking like they're going to fall back here to the race leaders as they head back down the front straightaway. I think Zach Schrittenthal, he's going to just stay right behind him. I think they're going to try to get as much draft as they can off of him, and I expect them to definitely pit probably this time by.
Yeah, they definitely going to be winding down their lap count in the fuel tank here. They're actually going to go a little bit of too wide here as they're going to pass the slower cars on the bottom. If you're trying to pit this time, you can't go to the top because you can't pull down to go inside pit road. So I think they're going to be staying up this time here as they're just not going to be able to pass this grouping of cars. Not sure if that call was correct, but here they are anyways. They're going to go down at least one more lap. They're on the middle half of the track.
Yeah, so not going to pit this time by due to that separation. If I were Zach Schrittenthal, I probably would have just stayed right behind him and came in this time. But they're going to go around for another lap. I think if they do get clear of that pack down on the bottom side, they should be able to do something with it. But we'll see what they do once they exit turn 4. He'll go to the outside. That's the number 11 machine, Alexander Hodge. He'll go one lap down. Then you have Zabodil and Ludi. They're about to go one lap down as well. So maybe now that these guys are still going to be side by side, I don't know if we're going to see them come this time by, since that pack is still up on the outside of these drivers.
I mean, you could see the top 4 do it, but it just wouldn't be worth it. You'd be shortcutting yourself some speed there. They're going to continue to push to the top side here, not going to pit. So they're going to pass the 17 and the 8 this time, going to the tri-oval here. And these guys are not together. They're spaced out. You see the 68 right now on the inside of the 34. Just to show an example, that's the 5th car in line with this grouping. So they have to get to the bottom of this point before they can decide to pit. Not sure exactly the lap count left in the tank. But this is not looking good. This is really going to be beneficial to the first group that pitted almost 10 laps ago.
Yeah, this group right here is going to have to probably put in more fuel just from the amount of laps they're staying out. And I'm actually surprised that they're staying out this long right now. You know, I don't understand. I mean, you're just hurting yourself being able to have to come down and get more fuel. I don't expect them to pit this time by either, which I'm right. You know, just because again, they're with that pack still. They are still trying to clear them. It looks like they've gotten clear right now. So maybe we'll see them pit this time by, but I think that if you definitely don't pit this time by, these guys are definitely hurting themselves for sure.
Yeah, I wish I had the initial time of pit road exit where the first group came out to kind of see the difference here. But they're finally grouped back together, which that is the most important part, is now they're going to hold the bottom, maybe run like this for another lap or two to get that speed at most, but at any point in time, they got to be running really close to hitting the fumes in that fuel tank coming through 3 and 4. I hear no race chatter saying, hey, I'm going to be pitting this time. So unless they're going to do it silently, I don't think they're going to be coming down this time.
Like there, I thought for a second that they were going to think about coming down in there, but unfortunately they didn't. Zach Schrittenthal, he's going to stay out again for another lap right there. This field is just really scrambled. You're seeing a lot of lap cars in this mix. You see Kevin Zabladil, also some other guys, Alexander Hodge, Anthony Ludi as well. Look at how spread out this race is right now. This is reminding me of a lot of the days back in like 2010, 2011, where the two-car tandem was a thing, but you still had these little packs all over the place. You had the guys who were really good with two-car tandems that would pull away, but then you had the guys who would kind of just follow in suit right behind them, and then once pit stops happened, you started to see multiple different packs all over the racetrack.
Box, box, box. The number 2 is calling pit road here, and here it comes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 cars, 9 cars potentially here in this grouping for the major pit stop number 2 of this green flag session in stage 2. And hopefully all these guys get to their box at the same rate group 1 did to maintain any type of chance here. I just don't think they have it. I think group 1's going to be much faster than when they get back out on the racing surface. But right now, everybody seems to hit the box just fine. You see another group right behind them of 3 cars. They're not going to get to these guys before they merge back onto the pits. And I think on the screen there on the top half, I think you saw, there they are. That's the first grouping, and they are just going to completely pass these guys before they get to turn 1.
But Jeremy, I think we both knew it in our hearts. The longer they stayed out, the more and more they were going to hurt each other from going double wide and also being on the outside lane and whatnot. And, you know, Stan Carnathan is continuously just holding his own with this pack. He's got Blake Howell, Brian Fine, James Catrone, Richie Corey right back behind him. They're doing a great job, but they're a 5-car pack compared to the big pack that's going to be behind them, but they're still getting organized. So I think that's going to definitely help them out here. And they actually got separate a little bit. A 5-car pack right now. So with all the guys who came in behind them, they still were able to lead with each other, but they are back by 4 1/4 seconds. I just don't know if they're going to be able to make it up in time.
They're not going to be. It's 5 on 5. This front 5 cars right now are just staying in line, working really well together. There's been a couple bad bumps in the center of the corner, but for the most part, they are keeping the pace they need to. And we have 15 laps to go in this event. So essentially, that second grouping of 5 cars has to run, what, a half a second faster each and every single lap. And with the numbers being 5 versus 5, I don't see that happening.
Really see it happening either. I mean, even right now, I'm looking at the timing and scoring sheet. They're actually losing time. It is now from the race leader to Zach Schrittenthal, it is now 4 3/4 seconds. And from Schrittenthal back to the last guy on that back pack of the first one, it's 4 3/10 seconds back from Richie Coy to Zach Schrittenthal. They're definitely going to need a yellow if something were to happen, but I just don't see it happening. I think this is going to be the waiting game here for the rest of this race.
I mean, we saw the incident on the front stretch that took out 5 cars, but at the same token, there was no caution. So it looks like something big's going to have to happen on the track for a caution to fly at this time. And I just don't see that happening with how spaced out everybody is. If we lit up that iRacing iFlag track map one more time, we'll see post-pits. It's still just very separated. There's cars virtually on every single part of this 2.66 mile super speedway. So them being really spaced out, this is limiting the amount of attempts you could have for a caution.
I think if there's anything that's going to happen, it's going to come from the pack that is the second pack behind these guys right here that we're looking at. Not the pack that's heading into one right now, but the pack behind them. I think that that's where you're going to see the issue, because from the iRacing or the iRacing iFlag track map, it looks like that group is going to be able to catch this 68 N3. I want to say they're bundled up pretty good. No, they're actually still in a 5-car pack. From what it looked like on the track map, they were bundled up pretty good. But now that 5-car pack looks like it could become a 7-car pack. They'll look to the outside here. That's Stan Carnathan, or Michael Carter, rather, in that 24 machine. He'll head to the outside of Andrew Little and the 3 machine of Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. They'll go back down to the bottom here in 3 and 4.
They're going to gladly adopt the 68 into the 3 in their little grouping here. So 7 cars now, but they're 3 wide. So this is nothing positive for the set of cars here. They need to go back to single file if they want to contend for this race win. I think the time is still too far out of reach, but at least try to make the effort here as we have 12 laps to go in this event.
Yeah, I think personally, Jeremy, that just out at the front of the field with Stan Carnathan, Blake Howell, Brian Fine, Catrone, Coy, they are going to be your top 5 unless somehow, some way they end up wrecking. I just don't see Zach Schrittenthal and them catching them, like you in fact said. But you never know. It's Talladega. I think that they're going to play the waiting game until the very, very last lap. And I mean, what a top 5 this would be. You have Stan Carnathan up there. You have Blake Howell, Fine, Catrone, and Coy. These guys are definitely going to be your contenders here for the race win.
Shout out to one of our partners here at the NERDitudes, Scott Martin with Martin Sports. Small company with a big-time product, home of the sim gloves of sim racing. They make the most breathable and durable gloves the sim world has ever seen. They also specialize in fully customized sublimation printing on everything from team uniforms to shirts and hoodies, allowing for 0 restrictions on color, which allows for the absolute fastest turnaround in the business. Check out their full apparel and merchandise line at martinsports.gg and use that infamous promo code SUPERNERD. It's going to save you 25% off anything you purchase from martinsports.gg.
Yeah, Zach Schrittenthal, he's going to the outside of Cabin Rough right now. That first pack, they got around him, and they are still not making any type of ground here on that front pack. And yeah, they're losing now. It's 4 3/4 of a second still, and to the race leader, it's 5 seconds, and it's 4 3/4 from Richie Coy to Schrittenthal. There's just nothing they're going to do. And in fact, they actually just lost one of their cars, so that was Kane Lee. He just fell off of that pack, so they're going to probably not even gain any more momentum. This is the pack that I would probably say you got to worry about more than likely. But again, there's just not enough laps, 10 laps to go. I just don't see this pack catching them either. They're back by 8 4/10 of a second. They're even losing a little bit of time. I just think that front 5, they're just grouped up really, really nicely together.
And this is huge for a couple of these guys in this pack here in the front. Brian Fine in the 57, then James Catrone there in the 38. These guys are in 10th in points and 15th in points. So this is right at the cutoff area into the round of 12. And if they finish the way they do right now, they are both in the round of 12. So they are desperately hoping that there is no caution from this point forward, that they will be locked in because they can't get past at this point unless there's an error that happens somewhere on the track. So good points day for these guys so far. And yeah, there's no way anybody's catching them at this point as round of 10 to go.
Yeah, definitely not. I just don't see anybody catch them. Again, Schrittenthal is just continuing to lose a couple tenths of a second every lap to these guys up at the front of this field. Stan Carnathan just doing a great job with holding everybody back up there in this race lead, you know, and he's just done a great job really all night. He's been really, really quiet when you think about it. I don't know if he's going to be the one to do it, though. I mean, when you look, you know, you have a lot of guys right back behind him that are very hungry for a win. Richie Coy is hungry for a win, and a lot of these other guys here. I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it. We'll see, though, here as they approach 7 laps to go.
And this is big, too, even for Stan Carnathan. Not in the championship hopes, anyways, for the playoffs. But he's only 6 points out No, actually about 30 points out of the overall lead. That's everybody outside of this top 16. And there's only one top 10 posted for the 82 all season long, no top fives. And so right now, leading the charge, this is a great showing for Stan Carnathan.
Yeah, very much so, to say the least. And I mean, how about James Catrone? He's doing a really good job. Came in second to last in the round of 16 here. He's got 5 top 5s. He has 6 top 10s. Talk about consistency here this season for this driver. That is definitely what got him into the playoffs round of 16. And now he finds himself on the verge of elimination. But with a race like he has tonight, he very well could go to victory lane or even just barely squeak his way in through into the round of 12. We'll have to see how he does here. This time by 6 laps to go. Him and Richie Coy starting to fall off just a little bit from those front 3.
Given the space, either to cool the engines off for one late push here to try to do anything on the top half, or they're just going to separate themselves to make sure nothing bad happens to this top 5 to secure the positions they are in. We'll find that out probably in the next 3 or 4 laps when it comes down to 1 or 2 laps to go, as they're starting to approach some lap traffic here on the next lap. Cycling back to the second grouping here, Zach Strenthal, Harold Watkins, Nathan Campbell. Those are the 3 guys right now, 6th, 7th, and 8th place. Everybody else behind them, the 2 cars, are multiple laps down.
Yeah, and they're going to get a little bit of a tow here off these lap cars, so it's going to help them, but I just don't see, like I said, anything really happening. They're actually going to go to the top side. That's the 5 machine of Matt Hayden caused that first wreck on lap number 2. They also have some other guys up in front of them right there, but now with 5 laps to go, I want to just say this 26 machine, the 57, the 38, the 19, they're all thinking, how do we get around Stan Carnathan? Who do I go with? What kind of moves do I make? Everything that's going through these guys right now in these last 5 laps, they're figuring out how they're going to make their move.
Yeah, I mean, they got maybe one opportunity to make anything happen. That's going to be on the final lap at this point, the way they're running right now. See the 2-lap cars giving all the space possible to the outside there. Turn 4 exit, running up to the wall. The 48 drops down to pick up the draft. And they're going to go single file at this point here at the line, lap 82. So we got 4 laps to go in the NERDitudes 225.
And Stan Carnathan, he's getting a great push from Blake Howell there in that number 26 machine as they head down the back straightaway, this time with just 3.5 laps to go. This is going to be interesting. Now when you look at this pack, they have a lap car in the mix right there. So with that being said, this lap car could help somebody get to victory lane or help somebody advance their position, maybe James Catrone, to try to win this race, pick up a couple more positions to get some points. We'll have to see. This time by 3 laps to go at the line.
Will the lap cars play any help to the 19 to the 38 to propel them to the front, or do they stay just laying back here and let the top 5 do what they need to do amongst themselves here? They hold a 6.5-second lead now over that second grouping led by Zach Strenthal, so they still continue to fall back a little bit further, just further solidifying this top 5 position right now. 2.5 laps to go, midway down the back straightaway. They all still remain single file.
Single file indeed, and Stan Carnathan is getting the push of his life right now from the back of Blake Howell right there. Brian Fine, James Catrone, they're trying to figure out. Now it's 2 lap cars that are going to play into effect here. This time by 2 laps to go with the line. This is still any of these top 5 guys' races to win here as they head back down the front straightaway, heading for 1 and 2. Still nobody heading at a line, trying to figure out what they want to do. If they're going to make a move, Jeremy, it's going to come on the last lap, and it's going to come probably heading out of 2.
Single car spin out on the middle of the back straightaway. The 92 of Clint Moda gets hooked by the number 7 of Rothery there, and it spins to the inside of the track, continues to go straight until the 92 came up the track and slammed the wall, which I don't know if he lost steering or sent it up to the track for any reason other than trying something, but we still remain green flag here. And coming out the line, we do have 1 to go after the trial here. So who will be there first? Will it be the car or will it be the flag? And it looks like we're going to get the white flag, one to go, presented by absolutely nobody. Next flag will end this race.
We got that first big one in at lap number 2, and it's been clean and green pretty much since that stage caution. We're going to find out right here who ducks out of line. Blake Howell looked to go to the bottom. He tried it. Stan Carnathan put a block. Here comes James Catrone. He thought about it. Richie Coy will jump up to the top lane. He has no help as they go to 3 and 4 for the final time. They'll remain side by side. Brian Fine now will try to make a move this time, heading into 3 and 4 for the final time to the outside.
Fine to the outside, gets the side draft, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to try it one more time. Will Blake go to the top? There he goes. He's going to try to get the draft. Don't hook him. Don't wreck him. They're going to wreck here on the front straightaway. 3 wide at the line. And the 57 of Brian Fine steals this one with the hook into the 82 to get him loose. Does not spin it, but man, oh man, that was huge. Brian Fine wins the Nerditudes 225.
Think right there, Jeremy. I think Blake Howell, he knew what he was doing. He went to the top. He came down, tried to get the side drift. Unfortunately, just hooked Stan Carnathan right into the wall. And Brian Fine just sneaks through with a win here tonight at Talladega. What a job by the 57. Great job by that field up front to not really cause a wreck it, and also everybody else here, and to just let this race play out green.
Richie Coy snuck in there at top 3 as they got to the line there. Stan Carnathan falls back to 4th place, first to 4th there in the tri-oval in the last lap. And our producer Dustin, he's in our ear a couple times, so I guess I'll let it loose that he called the 57 as one of his 2 picks to win this race, and he got it done there in that pastel pink fine beer machine as he's going to go down to the front straightaway, start finish line, and do what Ryan Blaney did 2 nights ago. He's going to get out of the car and hit the horse, kick its ass, as he's going to do the burnout here on the start finish line. And we're going to go over the unofficial results here tonight. For the Nerditudes 225, Brian Fine P1, Blake Howell 2nd place, Richie Coy 3rd, Stan Carnathan 4th, James Catrone 5th, Zach Strengthenon 6th, Harold Watkins 7th, Nathan Campbell 8th, Michael Carter 9th, and Bob Fitzpatrick in 10th.
Top 20, you got Steven Rasick there in the number 21. He'll finish P11th. Michael Sheffield comes home 12th. Kane Lee, contender all night up at the front. He'll finish 13th. Andrew Little as well. 14th. Adam Boughton, 15th. Kevin Zabadil, 16th. Jimmy Fitzmaurice, he'll come home 17th. Anthony Ludi will come home in the 18th position. And then you have back there Brock Potter, Ryan Bean. They'll round out the top 20. Tough nights for them after pretty much dominating up at the front with Stealth Motorsports.
Steve Potter 21st, Mark Thibodeau 22nd, 23rd, Robert Fitzpatrick Sr., 24th, Alexander Hodge, 25th, Nolan Potter, 26th, Jerry Culver, 27th, Harold Rothery, 28th, Matt Hayden, 29th, Clint Moda, 30th, Kevin Ruff, and Richard Gonzalez in the 9. Rounds out tonight's 31-car lineup here for the Nerditudes 225 at the simulated Talladega Superspeedway. Going full screen commercial as we gather up tonight's top 3. And welcome back here for the Martin Sports Post Race Show on Nerd TV. Is we temporarily or momentarily rather, we have two of the top three here. First and foremost, we're going to bring in third place finisher, number 19, Mr. Richie Coyne, the Advanced Auto Parts Ford Mustang. Richie, how's it going, man?
What's up, nerds?
Second time we get to bring you to the booth here for the RSR side of things here on Tuesday evening. And man, oh man, you set yourself up for a great finish, having those four other cars around you. And then the door opened there in the tri-oval. What was your final thoughts there going through that final lap?
Honestly, I have no idea. We were all talking. Well, most of us were talking. I guess the five of us were talking, and we all wanted to stay single file there. We had a great pit strategy where we were able to all five come out. There was a couple others that didn't get to go with us, but stay straight, stay strong, and we were able to gap the rest of the field. And then we knew when the white flag came out that it was going to be have at her boys. And I think I went a little too early on the backstretch, and it might have cost me the shot at actually coming across the line for a shot at the win. But it's great. Two team. I guess we got a 1-2-3 with our team coalition here, so that's always awesome.
Well, hey, Richie, congratulations on finishing P3 tonight. And obviously tonight, heard about that it was a fixed setup race. Now, compared to what you ran last night, that was an open setup race. Was there anything that you learned from the car, despite having an open setup race last night and a fixed setup race tonight? Was there anything that was different? Was there anything that you learned that also translated into the car tonight as well?
The main difference between last night and tonight was the cars seem to, with the open setup, they'll draft up quicker. With the fixed setup, they don't draft up quite as quick, especially if you're like a car length or two away. It takes like the whole straightaway to get up to the guy in front of you. With an open set, you can close that gap pretty quick. So you gotta really watch when you're letting off the throttle for a checkup that you don't let off too much, and then you get that gap, and then it takes you a while to get back in again. But it's Dega. It's doesn't matter whether it's an open setup or a fixed setup. It's plate racing, man.
That it is 100% there. Well, congratulations, man, on your second podium finish here on the RSR side here. And final thoughts before we let you go this evening.
Well, I didn't get to say it last night, and I'm not sure they're watching tonight, but Tony's mom and dad actually had COVID and weren't feeling well for the last couple of weeks. So I hear his dad's feeling well, and I'm hoping his mom is following suit there, getting better and stuff. But thanks to the team, thanks for the league to letting me come in and play in their sandbox. It's always fun, having fun trying to learn these fixed setups. They're a lot harder than I thought they were going to be. But thanks to the league, thanks to everybody who's watching over there in Nerd TV. And as always, thanks to the nerds.
Appreciate you, man. And we'll catch you next week.
All right, guys.
That was number 19 there, Richie Coy. And I do believe we got our second place finisher in Discord. That's going to be the number 26 of Blake Howell. Mr. Blake, congratulations on your second place finish this evening.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was in here. I didn't hear any of that. Can you repeat what you said?
It's all good. I just did my intro, man. It's all good. So I just said congratulations on your second place finish. I guess my question to you is, what was your preparation coming to the Talladega? I know it's probably not too much, but did you see the finish happening the way it did here tonight?
I didn't see anything happening the way it did. First of all, you could probably tell I'm on my phone. My Discord wasn't working before the race. So I did all of that without any communication to my teammates. And then having the manufacturer thing where I ended up in a Toyota because I misclicked. But yeah, nothing that happened today was the way I thought it was going to. I'm glad I actually got to run more than 7 laps at a plate track. So that's a plus.
Yeah, Blake, congratulations there on P2. We saw you head through the tri-oval. You did the classic move. You went right into the tri-oval. You tried to swing up to the outside on Stan, made a little bit of contact. Did he come up a little, or did you just kind of try to side draft right there coming to the line? Because we know how aerodynamically dependent these cars can be on the super speedways with this package. Did you just make contact just trying to side draft too hard?
So looking back at it, first of all, I didn't even want to really get to the outside. I knew Stan's situation. He needed a win to advance to the next round. I was content with pushing him to the line, but I came off of 4 in a 4-wheel slide, and I just so happened to be on his outside coming to the tri-oval. And I was trying to side draft him, and then netcode happened by I never touched him, just by a couple inches. Netcode happened, but yeah, I feel bad for Stan. He really deserves that one.
Yeah, it was tough there for sure, and he still finished fourth, but great points day, but doesn't get himself locked in. We'll have to see how those point situations look when they get posted, and that explains why you were in a different scheme on the broadcast. We had you in the 67 car. On my end, you're still in the 26 without a paint scheme, so it kind of explains why exactly what was going on there with your car. But nonetheless, though, great finish from your camp. Final thoughts before we let you go this evening.
Yeah, I just want to thank Red Duck Comics and all the other guys that are usually on my Chevy every week. But yeah, sorry, Stan, you should have won that. And good job, Brian, on the win. Congratulations, buddy.
I appreciate the thoughts there, man. Go ahead and have a good rest of your night, and we'll catch you next Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. That was Blake Howell, driver the number 26. Usually is a Chevrolet, but it is a Toyota Camry, and he gets himself in podium, believe it or not, when he's not running his paint scheme. So maybe we'll have to make up for that next week. Now it's time to bring in tonight's race winner, Mr. Brian Fine of that pink Fine Beer Chevrolet Camaro. Brian, congratulations.
Thanks, man. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing pretty all right, man. I was running a little bit tired earlier, but this race woke me up, and that was a pretty interesting race. I usually see some big clusters, but we had a massive wreck on the front straightaway, 2/3 through, and somehow there was not a caution. And then the pit stops happened. It really just spaced out the entire field. Um, for your end, did you plan on, trying to short pit a little bit to kind of break away from the rest of the field?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the game plan, was to come in at the completion of 61. You were going to have some people try to stretch it real far. Short pitting, I think tonight was king. And, the group that we all pitted, we all come in together at the same time. We all went out at the same time, and it showed how fast we were.
Yeah, and Brian, obviously, congratulations on the win tonight, man. And Jeremy's been saying it now to the last three guys now, including you, that we've talked to here tonight on the broadcast is, like, I don't, did you expect, this and that? Well, I guess my question for you would be something in the same ballpark is did you expect the race to go the way it did? We saw the one crash, which I don't think anybody expected to happen that early on, and then it was green pretty much the rest of the way, except the competition or not the competition caution rather, but the stage caution. Were you surprised by the lack of cautions in the hard racing?
No, not really. I mean, we have a good group of guys that run in this league. Everyone's got massive respect for one another. Yeah, I mean, there are some times that it may not go our way, but tonight we showcased that we're the league, that we're doing very, very well. And I was very impressed on how well we ran, especially coming to the line right before stage. Good Lord, white knuckle.
Yeah, we actually had someone, I forget exactly who in the comments, they were saying exactly the same thing now, some white knuckle racing. I think that was Robert Geary on their Facebook side there. So multiple people did notice the same exact thing. And yeah, that was some pretty intense racing for sure. We had no idea if there was going to be a massive wreck or if you guys were even going to make it. But sure enough, did and paid off in your favor, man. So congratulations once more. Final thoughts before we let you go this evening.
I mean, just, hopefully it was a great race in the broadcast booth for you guys. Hopefully everybody watching enjoyed it tonight. Shout out to my wife, Rachel. Also, Bristol was born on the 15th of September. She's here in Victory Lane with me tonight, celebrating. So, we're going to go have fun with the new edition.
That's awesome, man. First win, only 2 weeks into our life, and it's kind of awesome to have her with you there. But congrats once more, man, and we will catch you next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. And now it's 57, number 57, Brian Fine there in that pastel pink card, changing up the colors on us this time. Jason, that was a pretty interesting race, crazy middle of the race, which that's typically what you have been expecting all week long. But then this back half, like, I've never seen it so spaced out here in a league race.
Yeah, It was really interesting to say the least, Jeremy. I mean, when you look at everything in retrospect, I mean, we saw last night, you know, everything was very all over the place. We saw some good racing, but then all of a sudden we saw a lot of hard racing that led to a lot of crashes at the end of those races. But tonight we just didn't have that. And now we're eliminating 4 guys here in the round of 16. That's going to be moving on to the round of 12. Congratulations to Brian Fine. It's a heartbreaker for Stan Carnathan. It's a heartbreaker for Blake Howell. You know, that something like that had to happen to those guys. But I mean, just an interesting race. I definitely did not see Talladega playing out like this tonight, to say the least.
Got some Brian Fine fans out there on the YouTube and Facebook. Skeletor says, "Frick yes, great job, Brian." And then Dina Fine herself saying, "Good job, Brian Fine." So multiple people giving him some congratulatory comments there on the YouTube and Facebook world for the Nerditudes. But it is our time to close this thing down. First and foremost, Dustin, I know you're not on camera, but I appreciate all the cam work. You did some excellent coverage, doing some drone camera at 200 mile an hour and some other shots as well. It's a great job overall. And then to thank our sponsors and supporters that bring us here every single Tuesday. First and foremost, the league themselves with the RSR Next Generation Cup Series. It's one of the title series running under the Evolution Racing League banner. Stay up to date of all the racing news by visiting facebook.com/RSR League. Best one, tire and service. So if you're looking for a one-stop automotive repair shop and tire shop, visit bestonetire.com to find a location nearest you. Admin Box is built by iRacers for iRacers to be utilized in league and hosted races by admins and race control. Find them at adminbox.com. Blake Howell Designs, you're going to find them on Instagram. And if you want a one-of-a-kind way to showcase your sponsors and one of the best schemes there in the sim world. Martin Sports, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See the whole apparel lineup at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag, get all of your notifications just a fraction of the second faster without ever leaving any focus from the racing action. Find them at iracingiflag.com. Butt Kicker, get that ultimate feel from the sim car into your sim seat with the response system from the Butt Kicker. And you're going to head over to thebuttkicker.com to check out all their products for your sim rig. Team Watson Racing setups, quality, professionally built setups for all your asphalt oval needs. Find them at teamwatsonracing.com. Dusty Pete's Gifts and Collectibles. It's a hobby shop with a whole lot more. So if collecting is the game, Dusty Pete's is the name. Find them at dustypete's.com. And lastly, Roasted Gems Coffee. Premium coffee beans roasted just for you. Start your day the right way. Coffee from Roasted Gems. And that's it for us tonight, guys. We're going to catch you not Wednesday, but we're going to be back with you guys live Monday for the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. They're going to tackle the Roval Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned there. Until then, you guys stay safe. Get your nerd on.